Ekurhuleni Speaker Raymond Dlamini and Chief Whip of Council Khetha Shandu will face motions of no confidence today. The motion is brought by the so-called Super 7 group of minority parties and is seen as a test for whether they can remove Mayor Tania Mampbell. Both the Speaker and the Chief Whip are members of the DA, and it appears the EFF and ANC will support the motion. But it's unclear if these two parties will support the minority party's candidate to replace the Speaker. Newzroom Afrika reporter Govan Whittles is there. Govan, good morning. Bring us up to speed with what we can expect from this vote in Ekurhuleni today.
Good morning, Hugo. Coming to you live from Germiston. Newzroom Afrika this morning able to confirm that it appears Action SA intends to walk out of the Ekurhuleni Council during that motion of no confidence against the Speaker and the Chief Whip of that council. Action SA not willing to defend the DA's candidate. These are the latest outcomes following overnight discussions and negotiations. We'll speak to the parties just before they head into the council in about an hour's time. But at this point, it looks like the EFF, the ANC and the so-called Super 7, these minority parties are poised to take power, or at least the Speaker's chair, as well as later on, if they can remove the Mayor, the Chief Whip's chair. This would be a very interesting development and would most certainly lead to a change in government in Ekurhuleni if a further motion is brought against Tania Mampbell. Interesting that the year is starting with the minority parties launching this motion of no confidence against Raymond Dlamini. We understand that Dlamini is insistent that he wants to defend his position. Of course, he would need to recuse himself as the Speaker so that that motion against him could be heard. In that instance, usually what would happen is that the city manager would be brought in to preside over the motion of no confidence. That's what happened when they removed Vasco da Gama as the Speaker in Johannesburg, and it certainly looks like that is what's going to happen here in Ekurhuleni. The minority parties, the group of Super 7, as they're called, consisting of a number of parties, including the AIC, of course the UDM, and then of course the IFP, part of the coalition in the DA, but the PAC also being part of the minority parties. What's interesting is that the AIC taking the lead here and essentially deciding who they're going to field for the candidate for Speaker to replace Raymond Dlamini if they're able to remove him. What we might see happening in Ekurhuleni is the ANC or EFF candidate for Speaker emerging, so to speak. But that, of course, will become clearer once we know where the council will actually process that item on its agenda, which is the motion of no confidence. A lot of people here talking about council collapsing today, and it will be up to the minority parties, the EFF and the ANC, to make it work, as it seems Action SA has decided to pull out.
Govan Whittles coming to us from Germiston will certainly be keeping tabs on that developing story as the morning progresses.